Dr. Scott Watkins is he's in Melbourne to talk about LED lights. We've been talking about LED lights. We've just got some actually in the studio, and they're doing that weird flickering thing if you dim them. There's a public forum called The Light Revolution at June the 14th. That'll be a Sunday at Federation Square. Good morning, Dr. Scott Watkins.
Morning, Red.
You're a big fan of the LED light.
I am, yes, both the technology itself and how it can change people's lives, including it sounds yours.
How it can change people's lives?
Yeah, indeed. So, I mean, some of the things that we're talking about on Sunday at Fed Square are about the ways that this discovery of more efficient lights and easier to make lights can influence a whole range of things. You put them in your studio, but we'll also be talking about ways that there's companies that are taking LEDs and taking them to people that currently use kerosene lamps. So these are in places like India. So there's an Australian social enterprise called Pollinate Energy that's helping people replace their kerosene lamps with LEDs and that really does change their lives.
Where if they're running kerosene lamps, okay, you've got me there. I can't help thinking a LED light is probably better than a kerosene lamp. But where are they getting the electricity from then?
Oh, see, that's the other half of the thing. It's solar power. So you use the sun and solar panels can generate enough electricity. And because LEDs are so efficient, then you don't need as much electricity as you would with an incandescent lamp. So little solar panels on the roof of their tents or bigger solutions where you have a community scale thing where you have a lot of solar panels and collect that energy.
What about why don't they just work in the daytime?
Well, they could, but these are countries where typically the women spend a lot of time cooking indoors. So, we'll cook all day, and the children, when they come home at night after school, need to study, and they're currently doing that by kerosene lamps. So LEDs are a great replacement for that. And I've had the chance to go and see this in person, and it really is life-changing.
Okay, I can see an argument here which I quite like. I did read the proposition that solar cells, for instance, they're terribly fashionable here. We're all saving the planet one solar cell at a time. Where they're really useful is in places where there is no electricity and you can recharge a phone with them.
Exactly.
On a small scale. The same would apply to LED lights because they use very little electricity. You wouldn't have to store much in order to get an LED light to work.
Exactly, and one of the products that I was working with this group, Pollinate Energy, are these lights that do have chargers for mobile phones as well. So you have a little solar cell on the top of people's tents, and it charges up a battery, and then it can light up the tent for the night time, and as well as charge a couple of mobile phones.
Yeah, but what about this? Try get out of this one. What's the carbon footprint of an LED light?
Well, much smaller than a kerosene lamp. So it's and when you're generating,
you sure about that?
So much smaller than a kerosene lamp. Yeah, the amount of soot and smoke that you produce, because LEDs are pretty much our most efficient way of generating light.
Mm. Well, I guess we'll lose China, but Africa will be fine. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, perhaps.
Moving on to other matters, are there any vegetables you hate?
No, not really. I'm not the biggest fan of beetroot, actually.
You don't like beetroot?
Not the biggest fan, no. That might be un-Australian, I know.
It's un-European. That's where all the sugar came from once upon a time.
Yes.
This public forum, will this be lit with LED lights?
I think Fed Square, where it's at, has done a pretty good job of putting energy-efficient lighting throughout. So, yes, I think it is. So it's in the evening, so we will need some lights in there at 5 p.m. on Sunday.
Yes. Nicely done there, sneaking in the time, by the way. Almost seamless, yes. But one of the things we noticed with the new LED lights we've got in the studio here is if they're on a dimmer, they don't really, you wouldn't call it strobing, but they flash at random intervals, which is rather odd.
Yeah, that still is a challenge, and that's why people are improving things. And one of the potential solutions to that is organic LEDs, and that's where my colleague Andrew Holmes will be speaking about that on Sunday as well. And so these use carbon-based materials instead of gallium nitride, and that these dim perfectly. Probably the future, and you can print these organic LEDs on plastics, and you can print these organic-based materials to make organic solar cells as well. So we'll be talking about all of those organic electronics as well.
And LED lights do have a reputation for lasting much longer, do they not?
They do indeed, yeah. You'll get a lot longer out of the LEDs that you put in your house. So I've got LEDs all through my house, and it's been a big change. I haven't changed the light bulb for years.
How many downlights have you? You got downlights in your house?
We do, and I'm quite legendary amongst my friends because in our entire house we have 13 downlights.
13?
Most people have more than that in their lounge room.
I've got 51.
51?
In my house, yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, well, I am immensely wealthy. That's a matter of public record. But it's costing me a fortune. I keep turning the lights off everywhere. I'm thinking that's like a 1,000 watt bar radiator in the roof. Can't be good. They're also cooler, aren't they, LED lights?
Yeah, they are. So, I mean, if you've ever been into the roof when the downlights, the halogen downlights are operating, they're pretty hot. But LEDs can be a fair bit cooler, but organic LEDs even more cooler than inorganic ones.
More cool or cooler? I'm not unhappy with more cooler.
Okay, they're cooler.
Yeah. If you can work that into your thing at the Federation Square. Yeah. On June the 14th at 5 o'clock, as I recall.
That's correct.
All right. Well, have fun. Thank you. Dr. Scott Watkins. He's in the business of LED lights, it has to be said.